You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live with your host, Jim Valley.
Are you ready? Are you ready? Let's get it on.
It is Wrestling Observer Live. Live 7 days a week. Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern, noon Pacific. Sundays, 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific. Saturdays, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, as always. It's Jim Valley.
Oh, that's the most exciting type of Valley.
The effing king of recovery, 6-0 against death.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but toot.
Back because of the fans.
Each and every one of you.
The largest collection of STD having trailer park trash the Rock has ever seen.
You all fat, neck-bearded, mouth-breathing trolls.
They don't have adrenaline in their soul.
Well, he's not Billy Mays, and he's not Dawn. Rest in peace. He's Pat McAfee, and he wants to get you into this WWE PLE today, and he won't be undersold. The big surprise at SmackDown. 25% off WrestleMania Saturday tickets. But Sunday?
Now, WrestleMania Sunday night, ass. I wouldn't recommend anybody spend money on that.
Which is really what you want on your television. You know, I thought a lot about corporate wrestling, WCW in the early 90s and 1998 and SmackDown television.
We talking TV?
Yes, we are, Kathy. As a matter of fact, we are.
We talking TV?
And it's underwhelming. And by the numbers, as WrestleMania is, I gotta say, I am super stoked for AEW Dynasty tomorrow. We're going there live, Vancouver, BC. So we'll sort of contrast the difference between the two philosophies and also the psychology. Pat McAfee is acting like every pro football player I've ever seen pretend to do wrestling. And the psychology is all wrong as far as you're ripping on your product, you're ripping on your champions, you're ripping on everything that you're trying to get people to buy. And also, Pat McAfee's the bad guy. The bad guy gets you discount tickets. That cheap-ass CM Punk, Mr. Bus Driver Cody Rhodes. Why aren't they getting me discounts? Anyway, talk about that and so much more. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer.
All clear.
Yep. Happy Saturday, Tiger Maker 100. Thank you for being here. Marvin Zavella. Wait, I lost you, Marvin. Hang on, there you are. Marvin Zavaleta. Is that right? Zavaleta. 6115. Thank you for being here, Marvin. Appreciate it. Shuffle box as always. Big Timer 85. Mad Cow. Yeah. Yeah, it's weird. Everything's weird. I don't even know that it's WCW booking. I think it's 1998, and I'll explain here in a little bit as far as that goes. But oh my goodness gracious. Anyway, oh heavens, yes indeed. Oh, that's just It's just, I don't know. It's corporate wrestling. Wrestling's different, and people don't seem to understand that. They don't seem to get. But, to these people, it's a joke. So, we'll talk about it. But, and Dave talked about this too. Talk about a total act of desperation. And it's like, it doesn't need to be. Yeah, they're not quite at their peak, but they're still doing great. So, I don't know what the big deal is. Why they're acting like this, because we're not at that level unless, I don't know, there's some sort of corporate pressure that is unrealistic. I don't know. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that. Where we're going for Backlash. Yes, Dave, was it SmackDown? I did see that. Yeah. So I texted him, see if he had any quick thoughts, but as usual, Dave doesn't always text back. So, but Dave, was it SmackDown? So, be curious. I'm sure he'll have some thoughts on Sunday. So I'm sure he'll mention that. Get some thoughts on Sunday. All that fun stuff. And I feel bad for Cody Rhodes. I am stoked for Dynasty tomorrow. I am psyched for Dynasty. Yeah. Well, Dynasty's tomorrow, isn't it? And besides, I got some time. He's got Collision. All that fun stuff. Yeah, it's tomorrow. It's at 12.
On the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
It's Jim Valley. It's Wrestling Observer Live. And we are here live. I want to mention that today, April the 11th, be remiss without mentioning the passing of Sweet and Sour Larry Sweeney, one of the greatest promos and characters and wrestlers in all of wrestling. Brian, of course, still has the Texarkana TV title in his studio in his case, but it's been 15 years since we lost Larry. Very sad. Also, today would have been the 83rd birthday of Harley Race, 8-time NWA world champion and the greatest wrestler on God's green earth. 24 years ago, we lost Stanley Weston, he of all of the Weston magazines. And happy birthday to Dustin Rhodes. He's 57. R.A. Daivari is 37. And it was on this day 63 years ago, Buddy Rogers awarded the WWF title, making him the first ever champion. And next month, of course, he lost it to Bruno, who held it for 8 years after that. And it was 5 years ago tonight, WrestleMania 37. Night 2 took place. Tampa, Roman pinned both Edge and Daniel Bryan, because he's Roman. It was also that night, 5 years ago, Randy Orton, the Fiend, with Alexa Bliss and her giant Jack-in-the-Box and the black goo dripping from her forehead. So keep that in mind, that this probably will not be Randy's worst WrestleMania match this year, but we'll get into that later. Secretary of Education, Linda McMahon, she'll never escape the AI. Shared a picture on Truth Social, the Trump social place, of course, Friday, of Ida B. Wells, one of the founders of the NAACP. And the picture turned out to be AI, according to experts and historians, because she was using a quill by candlelight. And by her time, they already had gas lamps and pens. So Linda will never escape AI or A1. I guess I don't want to, but I guess got to talk about SmackDown.
We talking TV?
Yes, we are. Before SmackDown, Jordynne Grace made her return from injury, facing off against Zelina Vega in a match for main event. And as I was watching, other than the psychology was awful, theme of the show was people laying on the ground in pain. B-Fab, Meechin, laid out by Rhea apparently, and Jelly Roll laying on the ground apparently, laid out by Randy Orton. So Rhea opens SmackDown, and boy, she is lean. Oh my word, is she lean. I knew she'd gotten cut and things, but she was turning sideways. I was like, wow, she is really, really lean. It's impressive, I guess, but she's cut. But said Jade made things personal when she attacked Io on Raw. And out comes Io instead of Jade. And Io says she wants Jade tonight, the main event. Nick Aldis says, well, that wasn't the plan, but I'm not going to turn down a good idea. So your main event, Io and Jade, non-title, later tonight. Opening match, Bayley with Lyra in her corner, taking on Alexa with Charlotte in her corner. Alexa and Bayley going at it. Bayley's beating Alexa they're outside the ring, and Bayley is there next to Flair, Charlotte, and she starts doing the Ric Flair Nature Boy mannerisms, the woo and the strut, and the hair, flattening back the hair and all. And Charlotte is way too upset about this. You'd think she's seen this hundreds, if not thousands of times, but for some reason, this really got under Charlotte's skin. And Charlotte throws her coat at Bayley while she's up on the apron. Bayley falls through. Alexa rolls up Bayley for the pin. And a lot of people have mentioned that Bayley gets pinned in her hometown, which is a lot of things that happen. Trick, Williams, and Yachty tormenting Carmelo Hayes in the medical room. Cardona appears, and we have a match tonight. Trick and Cardona again later tonight. Video package. Drew McIntyre behind bars, talking about Jacob Fatu's past. Remember Drew McIntyre? How good he was with carrying CM Punk with his clever promos and wry wit, and now he's just calling Jacob an animal and saying how he needs to be chained up. And I don't know. It's like I miss that Drew McIntyre. So they asked Jacob about it, and he wasn't very great here backstage. But before he could say much, Solo and the MFT said this was the place where Jacob got his teeth knocked out months ago. And Solo said Tom was going to step up to face Jacob. And like I said, Jacob a little weak here on the mic. Royce Keys package, talking about his background. Royce squashed Berto with Angel in the corner of the spine buster. And you can tell he's got the WWE moves down. You pause here and do this. You get in the ring and you hit this and you hold up your... He's got all of those mannerisms. He's learning those and getting those down. Not a great crowd reaction for him, particularly in his hometown, but look, this was not a great show. And it's way too early to say anything about Royce Keys. And like I said, it's WrestleMania. They're not that interested in getting new guys over because it's WrestleMania. They got other feuds to build and things. So I never thought it was a big deal that he hasn't been on TV much, but other people made a big deal out of that. So Pat McAfee arrives in his pickup truck at the arena. He says, "Hey, did you tell everybody?" Nick Aldis goes, "Yes. No one can touch Pat. No one who works for WWE can touch Pat McAfee." Jelly Roll confronted him, demanding to know if he told Randy Orton to RKO him. McAfee said, "You shouldn't have been in the ring. You got what you deserved." Jelly got into McAfee's face, but was told to back off by Aldis as McAfee was off to address the crowd. Look, God bless Jelly Roll. Big fan, all that stuff. He lost a ton of weight, but it's like he's got the body of one of those 1,000-pound sisters after they lost all their weight on TLC. I mean, you can see the skin and things, and, that's the next phase. And good for him. But he doesn't look particularly athletic, particularly strong, or anything. And the outfit he chose, he looked like a hobo. Looked like Boxcar Willie. All the dirty denim. It just wasn't a good look overall at all. From outfit to gear to everything for Jelly Roll tonight, I thought. Backstage, interviewed Royce Keys for his debut. Said he was glad to do it in front of his people. But before he could continue, Solo Sikoa confronted Keys, said, "Hey, his door was always open." Pat McAfee's in the ring. Pat McAfee, God bless him. He's a big star, popular host, former football player. He's making all kinds of money. And obviously, Ari Emanuel and Endeavor, his agency, thinks he's got potential to be a movie star. next Stallone, apparently. Why would you have the next Stallone be a heel on wrestling? That just seems weird. But McAfee is also every football player I've ever seen pretend to be a pro wrestler. I remember growing up, and you'd see pro wrestlers or fake pro, the storyline. Every sitcom had a pro wrestling storyline. And and they'd growl, and it's like, and I knew as a wrestling fan that wrestlers weren't really like that. But that's the way Hollywood, and that's the way other people who don't watch perceive wrestling. So McAfee goes off on CM Punk. He's a sellout. Sellout for Saudi Arabia. Sellout for ripping, for wearing all of his gear. And he talks about his merch checks and all of that. And the big surprise, as I mentioned, the big surprise, Ram Trucks, the heel, went to Ram Trucks. 25% discount on WrestleMania Saturday tickets by the end of Monday Night Raw. Now, as far as Sunday.
Now, WrestleMania Sunday night, ass. I wouldn't recommend anybody spend money on that.
Wrestling, if that show sucks, and that is ass, whether it's Roman or it's CM Punk, if they win the main event Sunday night, Roman is the tribal chief of ass. And CM Punk is the best in the world at ass. You don't rip your product like that. You stick up for your product. You can say it won't be as good as me in the ring and us backing up Randy Orton. But, it's still going to be say something to put it over. Just like with promos, when you rip on Cody or you rip on Punk, who did Roman Reigns beat? He beat ass to win the main event of WrestleMania. It's ass. It's the showcase of the immortal asses. Now, there is a psychology to wrestling. And I know that a lot of people think it's just a joke and everyone's having fun, but it doesn't mean that there's a right way, there's no wrong way to do it. And Pat McAfee, for whatever reason, is a wrong way to do it. You can call Punk certain names, but at the same time, look, Punk, you may be a sellout, but I gotta give you credit. You have beaten a lot of people, and you have backed up that big mouth of yours. But I'll tell you what, that big mouth is gonna get you in trouble, whatever. You've got to put over your opponent. All right, we'll talk more about this psychology and corporate wrestling, WCW, and more SmackDown. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer.
The legend of the Phoenix.
Oh, clear.
This break is like a floating break, and I felt like you were rolling, so I just let you go for a couple extra minutes.
Oh, cool. Thanks. I didn't know. I was
Yeah.
No problem. Suppose
It was a good rant for sure.
And I suck. Everything else sucks. Cut you off easy.
I'll tell you what it wasn't. Ass.
Was it ass? That's good. Good to know. Yes, indeed. I don't know if Brian is going to be at the PLA tomorrow. I don't know. Let's see. Okay, let me see. Oh my God. Oh, wow. Let's find out. There we go. Yeah. Ass. CM ass. All right. Oh, heavens. Oh, goodness gracious. Yes, indeed. Oh, yay. Yes, indeed. Yes.
All right, here we go.
Sure.
47.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live, so the heel. Pat McAfee is giving us 25% off WrestleMania tickets for Saturday. Because he's a heel. Because I guess he wants us to suffer. Cody comes down, calls McAfee a play wrestler, which is, it's pretty true. And he gives the story of Paul Bosch, story that Dave has told many times. How promoter Paul Bosch from Houston hated the term marks, called them customers. Cody, of course, calls them family. And Cody mentioned what I talked about last week, is that Randy Orton began his WWE career post-Attitude Era. And given his dad, Cowboy Bob Orton Jr., grandfather, and his wrestling style, Randy's about as far from the Attitude Era as you can get. You know, it wasn't that long ago people would chant, same old S at Randy Orton. Randy's always wrestled relatively slow and safe style. And look, you can criticize it however much you want, but in many ways, you can't blame him. You know, I'm sure he's seen the effect it's had on his dad and his dad's compatriots, probably Harley Race, he remembers, all those things. So, you know, it's given him probably a lot of the longevity that he's had and been relatively injury-free. But that's another thing that makes no sense. Randy Orton's not the guy to stick up for the Attitude Era. And the other thing is, if these are the heels, and WWE for 30 years, the Attitude Era has been like a golden age. Just has, because of business. Why isn't Pat McAfee talking about the crappy stuff? Talk about, all the chair shots or the thumbtacks or, you know, all the things that people would find, you know, the puppies, all the things that people would find reprehensible today. Pat McAfee should be cheering on. That's what he liked. How about all of the mud matches? Let's get the women and the divas in mud or something that's reprehensible. And I'm just kind of spitballing here, but something that makes Pat McAfee a heel. Something. And, you know, it makes not a lot of sense. Again, psychology is all wrong. Cody let a go home Pat chant. On the video screen, Randy showed he attacked Jelly Roll, drug him to the ring by one leg. Orton McAfee attacked Rhodes, hit him with the belt. Jelly grabbed Pat McAfee by the neck. And this looked just like play wrestling. Look, like I said, good for him on the weight loss. but he looks like a 1,000-pound sister after the weight loss on TLC. You can see the skin. Anyway, Orton leveled Jelly Roll. Pat McAfee took the belt, wore it out on his shoulder. I mean, look, Dennis Rodman is going into the WWE Hall of Fame next week, which seems apropos. It was a big deal when Rodman, Karl Malone, two active basketball legends who were facing off at WCW Bash at the Beach in a tag team match, had a confrontation on the court during an NBA game, and not just a game, the 1998 NBA Finals. And lots of people criticized it. Today, probably be praised for corporate synergy and getting that bag. And Rodman and Hogan versus DDP, Karl Malone, did good business. However, the following pay-per-view, as I recall, kind of fell into an angle because as they were building up Bash at the Beach, they did the Tonight Show, and it sort of fell into an angle with host of the Tonight Show, Jay Leno. And then they decided to do a pay-per-view after that at Road Wild with Leno and DDP against Bischoff and Hollywood Hogan. Basically, almost virtually the same event, but with fewer athletes and a downgrade. And look, and part of the problem is Bischoff built this Tonight Show set on Nitro, and he did this segment, these talk shows that went on, I swear to God, they went on 20 minutes, 30 minutes. And Bischoff thought he was getting heat, but it was dreadful. And while Bischoff was droning on and on and on, Monday Night Wars, WWE was red hot, giving fans excitement and matches and trying not to just intentionally piss us off. I mean, you can say the tide turned after Goldberg and DDP and Halloween Havoc, but really, fans were getting pretty frustrated by those celebrity pay-per-views and the same old, same old. And that Goldberg versus DDP rating was just the last thread before it broke. Things were cracking already with Road Wild and Jay Leno. Yes, it got publicity, but so did, David Arquette. And this feels a lot like that, where you have too many celebrities and not athletic ones, and just random ones that feel like, oh, this one is for this demographic, this one is for that demographic. Nothing feels organic. And pro wrestling at its base, at its core, is simple. Good guy, good girl, bad guy, bad girl. Have an issue, they're going to settle it in the ring. I was thinking about Ole Anderson, wrestler, booker, Four Horsemen. His book, How Corporate America Destroyed Pro Wrestling. Now look, my personal opinion, Ole Anderson, not the best person. 1990, Junkyard Dog, Rocky King, kind of pulling a lot of the same thing with Triple H with Booker T years later. And 1990 was too late to do that too. And very bad. But, I was never the biggest fan. The guy had the Black Scorpion thing that was a cluster. But he also, invented the Road Warriors and some other things. So some bad people can sometimes do some good things. But I remember reading the book, and I don't even think I have it around anymore. Corporate America Destroyed Wrestling. I remember thinking he was just out of touch. And he was. But he does argue that corporate suits, particularly WCW, fundamentally misunderstood and damaged the business. And you could say Jim Herd with the Ding Dongs, and Oz and the Wizard of Oz gimmick, and all the stuff they tried to do to appeal to kids, all the goofy pay-per-views, all the goofy gimmick matches and such, certainly had that effect. And it feels like we're kind of seeing, not to that extreme, but some of that here. Talk about that more next. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer.
Oh, clear.
That's right.
Are you over the age of 50? Want peace of mind and financial security for your family? Here's an important message to you from Senior Care USA. The average funeral now costs over $10,000. That leaves your loved ones the burden of paying your debts and funeral costs. Our plans start as low as $1 per day and will pay your family up to $30,000 to help pay for your funeral and other expenses. There are no medical exams. Your rates will never increase, and your plan cannot be canceled, regardless of your medical conditions, as long as you make your premium payments. Get up to $30,000 in final expense insurance. Call now for free information. Just answer a few simple questions and get approved right over the phone in just a few minutes. Call right now.
Call 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. 800-399-6879. That's 800-399-6879.
Do you want to add a boost to your sex life this weekend? Do you want to make your partner and yourself happy? Then call our special hotline now. We'll sell you those little pills that work below the belt for less than $1 a pill and deliver your package in a few days, just in time for the weekend. Our pill delivers almost the same results as expensive pills for less than $1 a piece, and you don't need a prescription. And ask about their buy 3 get 3 free offer. What are you waiting for? Boost your sex life and have a great time now. Less than $1 a pill, discreet delivery in a few days, and a buy 3 get 3 free offer? Dial this number and save it now.
800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. 800-245-2751. That's 800-245-2751. Paid for by the Pharmacy Shop.
Have you suffered sports betting losses? There is someone who wants to fight for you to see you get back what you have lost to those sports betting companies. Michael Watts is a prolific trial lawyer with over $11 billion in total recoveries for his clients. And now with sportsbettingclaim.com, he'd like to help you. Michael has been a leader in some of the largest and most complex cases in the country, from defective cars and tires to damaging drugs and medical products. He has always represented the rights of individuals harmed by large corporations. His efforts recently resulted in the recovery of billions for individuals who lost their properties to fires carelessly caused by electric companies and others. Michael knows that sports betting companies preyed on and manipulated consumers into losing their life savings, and he wants to make them pay. If you have suffered financial hardship as a result of online sports betting and would like help seeking compensation, please submit your claim information for evaluation at sportsbettingclaim.com. Michael Watts is focused on winning for you. sportsbettingclaim.com.
Let's get out of there. I don't get this done.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live. You know, people like Pat McAfee or probably people at Endeavor, don't. I mean, look, Endeavor owns WWE. It's their product. They can do whatever they want, even if they don't completely understand it. I'm sure I have opinions of what a Hollywood agent might do, and I would get it completely wrong as well. But there's, like I said, there's a psychology. For example, last night, Danhausen, Aldis mid the match. Kid Wilson to pay for his sins. Last week, had to face Danhausen last night. Now, if Danhausen would have gone out and out-wrestled Kid Wilson and maybe locked him up with a Maestral 1, 2, 3, the crowd would have gone, the hell? What was that? But after weeks of getting over the curse and cursing people and seeing it work, when, Kid Wilson was up on the top rope, Danhausen flashes, the curse sign, and fireworks go off, and Kid falls down, takes the punch, and the running kick, whatever it was, gets pinned, boo. And also, messing around with Miz and doing the comedy and stuff. Fans were into it. They loved it. Again, that's the psychology of it. Same thing with even Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn getting booed in the ring, telling the crowd he doesn't understand why they're booing him, which is, another way of saying, boo me more. Again, that's the psychology. Trick and Yachty come out and they go back and forth. They're going to beat Sammy's ass at WrestleMania because everyone loves Trick. And I thought this was kind of funny that Yachty kind of sounds like Jimmy Hart.
Yeah, Sami Zayn, you sound like a hater. Because I'm going to tell you right now, the truth be told, no matter what, you could take away the coat, you could take away the Amazing Inches music, but it don't matter. You can take away Brothers Lemon Pepper. No, you can't take away Brothers Lemon Pepper Steps. But more of the fact is, materialistic things don't make Trick Williams. Trick Williams makes Trick Williams.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Actually, kind of sounds like that 90s time traveler guy, too. They could make him a manager. I know he wants to wrestle. Apparently he's training to wrestle. I'm just like, just what we want. More random celebrities who aren't known for their athleticism. Yay. Yay. All right, main event time. Cargill, Io Sky. Oh, goodness. As Jade Cargill rolled out of the ring, she was hit with a moonsault from the apron by Sky. Both women out of the ring. Cargill dropped Sky onto the steel steps. The wheelbarrow face slam, followed by the pump kick. Jaded, 1, 2, 3, it's over. Now look, I know a lot of people are mad, but look, Jade is the one defending the title at WrestleMania. And I'm sure it got the reaction they were looking for. People mad that Jade beat Io. That's the whole point. So after the match, Cargill got a chair, but Rhea ran in right before she could do any damage. Next week, the prestigious Andre the Giant Battle Royal, MFTs versus the Wyatt Six, and Raw SmackDown stars will also appear. TNA Rebellion tonight. EC3 has confirmed he'll return. TNA World Championship, Mike Santana defends against Eddie Edwards. Tag Team Championship match, Hardys versus Brian Myers and Bear Bronson of the System. Knockouts Championship, Ariana Grace versus Lei Ying Lee. X Division Champion Heath Slater against Cedric Alexander. That should be a lot of fun. International Championship, Trey Miguel against Mustafa Ali again. That should be a banger. The Hardcore Country match, Mickey James, ODB, and Taryn Tyrell takes on Ash, Heather, and M by Elegance. Frankie Kazarian versus Elijah, Nick Nemeth with former Bengal Bernie Kosar, there's a blast from the past, versus AJ Francis, Moose versus Special Agent Zero, and BDE versus Ryan Nemeth on the pre-show. And tomorrow, AEW Dynasty. If you're in the Europe, is it Dynasty? It's Dynasty if you're like in the UK, right? I think so. Kenny Omega versus MJF for the World Championship. I guess MJF is a slight favorite. Honestly, people have asked me who I like, and I'm just looking at these matches, just going, knowing that AEW almost always gives people time. That these are just going to be great matches, and I'm just excited to see the matches, to be honest. I'm less concerned about the outcomes, but obviously, it feels early for MJF to lose, but this one you never know. But it's probably just Kenny Omega putting over MJF. Tekla versus Jamie Hayter. Expect Tekla to win. Cope and Cage. Vancouver counts as Canada. I feels like these guys would win in Toronto, but they could win tomorrow. Mox and Ospreay for the Continental Championship. Casino Gauntlet, TNT title. That should be fun. Jericho and Ricochet. Darby versus Andrade for the #1 contenders match. Bucks versus Okada and Takeshita, which should be a storyline match. But sometimes AEW is what do you call it? Sometimes they trick you. Sometimes they trick you on that. So you never know. So that could be we may not see any storyline stuff. And Alex Windsor versus Marina Shafir. But that, dude, that's a pay-per-view right there. Dude, those are some great matches. Collision tonight, no spoilers. Jet Speed and Mystico defend the trios titles against the Dogs. Okada defends the international title against Myron Reed. Young Bucks versus El Clone and Hechicero. And for the number 2 spot in the Casino Gauntlet, Roosh versus Anthony Bowens. Hurt Syndicate in action. And Chris Statlander and Hikaru Shida also in action. You know, WWE is, you know, they've been the wrestling forever. I've talked about how, you know, that 20-year streak where it was TNA a distant second, and WWE, you know, owning the entire wrestling world in North America, basically, or at least North America, yeah. And how it's really affected the way people see wrestling. And this week, you know, the United Empire made it, except for Great O'Khan, made a surprise and a very impactful debut on AEW Dynamite, backing up Will Ospreay. You know, you had IWGP champion Callan Newman, Francesco Akira, and Hanare. And I thought they made a tremendous impression on the crowd. And of course, you have people saying, oh, why didn't we get a video package? We don't know who these people are. What are these people? I'm just like, you know, why didn't we get a video package for Randy Orton with who he was talking to on the phone? Why didn't we, you know, video packages aren't necessary all the time. You know, when Baby Yoda, Grogu, appeared, did he get a video package? Did we find out everything about him right away? We didn't even know his name for like, what, months or a year. Till we finally found out, is he new? Is he old? Who is this Baby Yoda? But the merchandise flew off the shelves without any information, without any background, video package, anything. And that happens in storytelling all the time. Happens with the Avengers. Happens with everything. Who is this mysterious person? What is this shadow? Who's causing this? And then they unveil the mystery. Who are these guys that are kicking ass with Will Ospreay? Who are these guys who are just leveling everybody in the Death Riders? These guys are cool as hell. Who's that guy with the Maori tattoos? Who's that guy who looks so cool? Yeah, I need a text crawl description for Grogu. You know, you want to find out more about them. You don't need a video package for everything. You don't need to be spoon-fed everything. You know, while wrestling does have a psychology, and I think it's more difficult and more involved than a lot of people realize. However, it is also simple storytelling. And just because you don't know who they are at first doesn't mean it's bad. Doesn't matter. You know, who's this guy who's the IWGP champion? He's only 23. You know, it's ridiculous that WWE has affected so much with the presentation of wrestling and what is right by wrestling. And even if WWE and some people has had plenty of factions over the years, some successful, some fail, you know, jump the railing and attack, and no one says, who are they? Who are these people? I want to know. I need a video package. No, they accept it because it's WWE. But for some reason, nobody else can accept that. Can accept it from anybody. Dark State, didn't they just show up on NXT? Anybody go? Who are they? Who's the video package? What do these people want? What are they doing? All these factions that have happened over the years, they just show up. You know, it's part of storytelling. It's okay that the surprise was that Will Ospreay brought his people. And when you talk about it from a kayfabe standpoint, it makes perfect sense. He'd want to surprise the Death Riders with these guys that maybe they didn't know about or know much about. And he'd want to jump them, and they would be his secret weapon as they just go crazy on everybody. You know, with the skill of Callum Newman and the flair of Akira and the, you know, just the brutality and intensity of Inare. Dude, Inare has been great ever since Wrestle Kingdom. It's obvious that they've got a more aggressive persona for him, and he's doing great. Now it's cool. Now I was glad that Inare has got it over. Definitely, yeah. Remember the end of The Last Jedi? Yes, when Geto, force pulled the broom towards him and looked up the night sky over Tokyo Dome. Exactly. No, it's just, you know, it's okay not to have these video packages. It's okay to let a story play out in a different way. Now, if it sucks, that's completely different. But video packages, stories with video packages can suck. And stories without video packages can suck. Stories can just suck in general. But, you know, it makes sense in kayfabe that Will Ospreay's going to bring his buddies, his former faction, sort of, with some people he knows and some people he doesn't, and bring them in and lay everything out. So we'll see what happens. But I thought it was great, and it was exciting, and everybody just need a video package. All right, talk about some lucha, CMLL, and what's going on in Triple R tonight. Jim Bell.
All clear.
Right. Good solo. Could do that. Yeah. Could do that exactly. Yeah, without ever selling. Yeah. All that fun stuff.
Why is it not fucking playing?
Probably. Yeah, you gotta hold off for it for a while. But yeah, for sure. Yeah, definitely.
What the fuck was that?
Definitely.
And the house you love.
There you go.
Yeah, the United Empire was great. I was worried United Empire was kind of on its way out. Obviously not.
No, he's talking to YouTube.
Sell your home as is. No cleaning, no showings. And there are absolutely no hidden fees or real estate commissions. We'll pay you a fair price for your home in cash. Whether you're downsizing, handling an estate, or just ready for peace of mind, call us. We'll help you walk away from your problem property in no time at all and get you the cash in your bank account with little hassles. If you'd like to sell your home fast, as is, we can help at the Home Buyers Hotline.
Call Want to Sell Your Home now for a free quote to sell your home in any condition. Call 800-950-3143. 800-950-3143. That's 800-950-3143.
With MedGuard Alert, you're never alone. You can connect with medical professionals anywhere, anytime. And now MedGuard is introducing our exclusive new Care Watch. If you need help quickly, use it from anywhere to contact medical professionals. No cell phone required. The Care Watch is not only a life-saving medical alert device, it's a revolutionary health monitoring system that checks your blood pressure, heart rate, oxygen saturation, and much more. And here's the best part. If you have Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. The Care Watch is only available through MedGuard Alert. Call us right now. We have monitoring programs starting as low as $1 a day. The call is free, activation is free, shipping is free, and no contract is required. Remember, with Medicaid, you may qualify to get your Care Watch for free. Call us to get your Care Watch right now.
800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. 800-853-8931. That's 800-853-8931.
I am a non-attorney spokesperson representing a team of lawyers who help people that have been injured or wronged. If you've been involved in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or injured at work, you have rights and you may be entitled to money for your suffering. Don't accept an offer you get from an insurance company until you talk to a lawyer. And we represent some of the best personal injury lawyers you can find. Tough lawyers that will fight to win your case. And they're so good they stake their reputation on it by only getting paid if you win. So if you've been in a serious car, truck, or motorcycle accident or hurt on the job, find out today for free what kind of compensation you may be entitled to. Call the legal helpline right now.
800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. 800-401-5163. That's 800-401-5163.
You are listening to Wrestling Observer Live on the Sports Byline Broadcasting Network.
Everybody on Blue Sky posted this post from X, from Jamie O.D. on X said, be careful out there. I had 2 WrestleMania tickets in my car, and Pat McAfee broke my window, left 4 more. So there you go. Everybody loves that joke. That joke never gets old. Last night, CMLL, Hechicero won by eliminating Angel de Oro in the 2026 CMLL Universal Championship semifinal 7-way elimination match. So Hechicero advances to the Universal Championship Tournament Finals, joins Mascara Dorada in the finals, April 24th, and we'll have more qualifiers through the month of April. AAA tonight on Fox and YouTube. Intercontinental Championship, first time in a AAA ring, the IC title is defended. Penta against El Hijo del Vikingo. And also a Reina de Reinas championship coronation. Flummer is coronated, and I'm sure nothing will happen because it'll just be a coronation. It'll be pleasant. There you go. Plus, the original recipe, El Grande Americano, which 11 herbs and spices, takes on Octagon Jr. And tonight, so that's AAA. You can check that out as well. So there you go. Anyway, kids, hope you have a great week. Try not to let SmackDown get you down. I know that it's frustrating, but look, things can always turn around. We can always, it's just wrestling. It's WrestleMania. And don't worry, we have a backlash to look forward to with Jelly Roll Wrestling. So there we go. Why am I on Blue Sky? Because of Elon. Because I don't believe that someone who is a government contractor should be making other decisions about other government contractors. It's a conflict of interest. That's my opinion on that. I don't care what his politics are, but that was ridiculous. So I don't think anything wrong with having accountability. All right, kids, just remember, no matter how down it gets you, no matter how silly it seems, no matter how annoying Pat McAfee is or how purple Cody's suit is, remember, it's just wrestling. Talk to you next week. Jim Valley, Wrestling Observer Live. Fun.
With the Las Vegas Raiders earlier this month, I had noted how many pundits championed the decision.
All right, Jim. Have a good week. Talk to you next week.